But I mean, there's so many wonderful people there that are kind of amazing that end up at Hollywood forever. People you don't think will. I mean, like Don Adams for Get Smart, he's there. I was
Wow.
surprised to see his stone there. Mickey Rooney is now there. Judy Garland is now there.
Why would you
Um,
be surprised that the stars are in Hollywood Cemetery?
because Forest Lawn is so much bigger, and
Mm.
Westwood, of course, that's where so many celebrities are buried. I mean, it's half the size of Hollywood Forever, and Hollywood Forever isn't huge, but there's everybody about anybody is at Westwood, kind of.
Hmm.
And then Forest Lawn, Glendale and Hollywood Hills, and what's the one? Oh, there's another one that's really famous. It's not Valhalla. It's more like closer to Culver City, and so many people are there too.
Hmm.
And that name escapes me. But I don't know. I mean, Hollywood Forever was the first cemetery in Hollywood for sure. Back into the 1800s. But it was more kind of a working class for the people back then in Hollywood weren't celebrities, they weren't actors, they were working people that lived in the outskirts of Los Angeles, and Hollywood was considered the outskirts of Los Angeles.
Hmm.
So that a lot of people were there, but there are interesting people that are there. Like I forget his name, but he invented the rear view mirror. He's buried at Hollywood Forever.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know. How cool is that? And look, some of the
Does his gravestone say bodies are closer than they appear?
I don't know if they had that sensibility when he was buried, but somebody put it. I wish somebody would put it down there. But I think as Hollywood became a movie town, and maybe I don't know when Forest Lawn or the other ones were built, the bigger ones. But they started. I mean, Cecil B. DeMille is at Hollywood Forever, and so that's about as Hollywood as you can get going
Oh
back
yeah.
into the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but a lot of them wanted maybe a bigger cemetery or something, with more flashy cemetery in a sense, because Hollywood Forever was always kind of a modest cemetery. I mean, as long as I know. I don't know if I mean, now they've got kiosks where you can put your loved ones' information and videos and stuff in kiosks, and there are kiosks all across the cemetery, and you can put somebody's name in and watch a little video of that person.
Wow.
And some of them are famous people and some of them aren't. I mean, some of them are just family people that they want to leave that kind of a remembrance for the next generations. But the kiosks are kind of cool. So it is a little more technologically different now. And like I said, more like in a zoo in the sense, because not since I've been there, it's been like 10 years since I've been there, really, and it's sad. But they have these cages, where they bring in the peacocks and the birds and stuff at night to keep them safe. And, it's kind of neat. I don't know exactly where they are because I just saw the pictures, but they take care of the stray cats and everything. So of course, the fowl, fowl and the decent fowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now,
Well, like the peacocks wouldn't have to worry about the cats as much as they worry about raccoons.
Yeah, and we have a lot of those in Hollywood for sure.
We had a large duck here that was left out too late, and it was very not aggressive, but it was a very not the most cowardly duck, and he got slaughtered over late at night. And the next day they said, oh no, Lotus is dead. I'm like, what happened? And they said apparently he was left out too late before he got put in his carrier for the night, and most likely a raccoon just walked into the yard and he wasn't having it. He probably went out to fight the raccoon. The raccoon's like, all right, if you wanted to play it that way.
Yeah, because people think raccoons are cuddly, and as babies they are, and if they're tame they are. But I've been chased by a raccoon, and I don't run from animals either. But
I've never seen an aggressive raccoon.
Oh my God.
If they're cornered to defend themselves, I've never seen them run after somebody.
This was terrible because I was doing it a favor. I fed, I fed all the feral cats in the neighborhood in my backyard in the driveway, and then pretty soon the possums started coming in, and then the raccoons started coming in. which was fine. So I made a table for them, especially for them, that they got up. And so first of all, I didn't realize that raccoons were that big. I don't know what I thought. Maybe they were
Like small dogs. Like small
well,
dogs.
I had no clue. So they started coming up and they were kind of friendly and cute. So I had water there so they could wash their food. And, I heard that they suck eggs, and I wanted to see that. So a couple of days I left out some eggs for them, which is probably a treat. But one of them was out there and it knocked the water bowl and I realized that there wasn't any water in it. So it wasn't looking or something. And I walked over and I grabbed the bowl and I went in the house and I filled it with water and I came back and when I put it on the table, that raccoon was on the table and it got up on its hind legs and it started making this god-awful noise and then it pounced. It was coming after me and I've never run so fast in my life. It's a good thing the back door was closed because that sucker, it was kind of fat and blubbery. It was huge. But it
Man, they can move.
scared the
Yeah,
bejesus
they
out of
aren't
me.
slow,
And
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you really want to get back at a raccoon,
Mm.
leave out a water bowl and some sugar cubes.
Oh, yeah, they'll try to wash the sugar
They'll
cubes.
try to wash the sugar cubes.
Yeah.
And it freaks them out because they can't figure out where it goes.
There's a great video of a raccoon with a big bunch of cotton candy going into the water. It's just like, where'd it go? What?
See, I would feel bad about that. But no, I was so angry in a sense. I mean, I can't get too angry at animals, but I ran in the thing and I slammed the door and thank God it was not a flimsy screen door. It was a security door screen. And I'm looking at it and it's sitting on the outside staring at me and I'm saying, "You ingrate. I was doing you a favor. What the hell were you thinking?" And this raccoon's just looking at me like, "Oh, she's crazy. She's crazy," because I'm sitting there yelling at a raccoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now
So,
when
now you know.
when people die,
Mm-hmm.
their spirit's released from the body.
Mm-hmm.
So why is there supposedly so many spirits hanging out in the graveyard at their grave?
I don't think they are.
Well, I don't either, but I mean, a lot of
I've
people
never seen
think
them.
so. Yeah. And they'll go there and think that there's all kinds of ghosts and this and that in the graveyard. I mean, they might be an angry person there or something like that, but most of the time, I mean, when it's my time, I'm going to be checking other things out, doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't know. I mean, it's folklore, obviously, that cemetery is a place of death. And maybe, people that don't believe that they go up to heaven or down to hell just think that they haven't got anything better to do than sit there at the cemetery on the gravestone and watch who walks by. I wouldn't do it. I mean, my understanding and my belief system is the spirit leaves the body. We can go anywhere. We can do anything. We're free, like Dobby, house elf. We can do anything we want. We can go to places that we've never been to before, and we don't have to pay for airfare kind of thing. So why would we sit there on our gravestone? I mean, maybe there are people that are extremely religious and are afraid to cross over and think that if they do, they'll go to hell, so they don't know where to go. They're not going to follow a white light, so to speak.
Waiting for that rapture.
Yeah. So, I think that may be that there could be some spirits hanging out like that in that case because they're afraid to cross over. But generally, I mean, I've never been afraid in a cemetery. It's very comforting in a cemetery to me.
Well, back with Hollywood's Forever, there have been people citing ghosts going through the wall into Paramount's backlot.
Yep, they're going back to work. All the workers
Yeah.
that used to be there. Yep, that's
And a friend caught a major EVP in the one of the main mausoleums right next to Peter Lorre and Rudolph Valentino.
Love that. Well, Scott Michaels caught one he thought was Edith Head. And he was at the Paramount Studios, and he had asked a question. Scott Michaels isn't the most. He doesn't go on a lot of investigations, basically, but he does believe. But he asked a question that was there, and they were in the costume department or close to it, and the voice that came through, because somebody that was there with them knew her voice, and it was a loud and clear Class A AVP answering one of Scott's questions. And I was so angry because he said, you know what? I got an EVP. And I said, you what? You can't do that. And he played it for me. And I said, I hate you. I hate you because I can never get an EVP ever. And he's going to
Really?
eat his head of all people.
I've only had one in all my time. I've only had one EVP.
See?
Really?
And I was
They're not
on the
that
Queen
easy.
Mary. Yeah, I posted it on my website, and it's pretty
See,
cool.
I just caught one right then. I heard a rooster.
Yeah, that's
We have, it's funny, Jeff, because we have somebody that has a rooster within the neighborhood, and every daybreak it crows or whatever they do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Here we're in LA, and we got roosters.
Oh, there are people with chickens all over the place. We have 3. One of whom's really old now. He looks like the Special K, cornflakes rooster. The one that's crowing now is full red, and he's an aggressive little cuss. He and I are not friends. And another who is all golden, which we just call Golden Boy, and he's perfectly fine. You can pick him up, and you pick up the old man rooster as well, the one that looks like cornflakes rooster.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have a photo of me holding the cornflakes style rooster, which I post on occasionally to do obvious, also name for rooster puns. If you know what I mean, a little there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, animals are cool. I love animals, which is why I'm always impressed when I am in a cemetery and I come across them, and they're just scooting around. And
yeah, they're good. We
Wow.
love them critters.
I actually had somebody recommend a cemetery for my script if we film it, and she says it's down south, and she told me where, and I figured out, the bus goes right to their door pretty much, and I get there, and they're all flat headstones. And I'm like, this is not my idea of a cemetery.
No, not atmospheric at all.
No, I need headstones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. I mean, because those other ones, like I said, with Jeanette MacDonald, it'll trip you up.
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
Yeah, that and jumping over goose poop.
Exactly.
Tripping over
story.
goose poop?
Well, there's a cemetery, there's a Judaic cemetery up north of the valley that I had a shoot for the movie, the biopic on Dick Cheney. It was called Backseat, but then it got changed to something else. I can't remember. It was Christian Bale. Came and went kind of fast. But I thought, well, that's in Upland. I figured, that's no problem. And I looked at the thing and I say, well, the closest bus goes here. And I went on to the Google Maps and it says, from there, walk 3 hours. I'm like, sorry, what? Sure enough. And then I'm like, well, it's not like it's uphill. It was uphill all the way. It was a 3-hour hike uphill. It was great. Yeah. But I got there, an hour before call time, and it was a combination of flat headstones and some headstones off to the side. Mm-hmm. So, but still, I want something with, it looks like a forest of granite.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, you just have to watch where you're stepping, unlike me who never looks when they're walking, because, birds go wherever they have to go, and not to get gross or anything, but I have never seen a bird defecate that looked like a dog did.
Oh, yeah. Those big white pellety thing.
Yeah. I mean, the people I were with, I said, wait, do they have dogs here? Do they have, what? And they're laughing at me, and they're going, no, that's goose poop. What do you mean that couldn't have come out of a goose?
Well, you've heard going through like a goose. That's
well,
what it means.
I thought, but that to me is not solid. You see, going through like a goose to me would be, something for Pepto-Bismol. But this was amazingly large.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you have to, at Hollywood Forever, you do have to watch out for that.
Watch your step. I always wonder why they leave people alone when they have the summer film shown.
What do you mean leave people alone?
That the geese don't come up and say, "Hey, you people are picnicking in our area."
Well, because it's nighttime. Maybe they're locking the geese up now too for their safety.
Yeah.